Godzilla vs. Gigan, a pretty weak entry in the series. The original idea for this movie is that it was gonna be called King Ghidorah's Great Counterattack, and it would have starred Godzilla, Anguirus, and Varan fighting against Ghidorah and two new monsters, Gigan and Magu. Then it was reworked into Godzilla vs. the Space Monsters, which still had Godzilla and Anguirus, but they were teaming up with a new character named Majin Tol, and the three were gonna fight against Ghidorah, Gigan, and Megalon. Yes, Megalon was gonna appear in this movie. Until the script got reworked one final time, which ended up cutting out both this Majin monster and Megalon from the final movie. As we all know, Megalon would appear in the next Godzilla movie, Godzilla vs. Megalon. Plus, this Majin To character would later be changed to King Caesar in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, but we're not at these films quite yet. The plot of Godzilla vs. Gigan involves a cartoonist who gets involved with figuring out that one of his agencies is a group of evil cockroach aliens that are trying to destroy the world using King Ghidorah and Gigan. So it's up to Godzilla and Anguirus to show up and stop them, while the humans are also trying to find a way to stop the cockroaches. Yeah, this is kind of a weird plot. Not weirder than the last movie, but it's still very out there. Oh, and the cockroaches want to destroy the planet because of all our wars and because of pollution? Well, I guess they just needed to tie this in with the last movie somehow. Ghidorah and Gigan are also being controlled by the cockroaches as well, so that's a thing. That's pretty much the whole plot in a nutshell. Okay, I think my biggest problem with this movie is how slowly paced it is. It takes forever for any monster fighting action to occur. Gigan, who's apparently the main baddie in the movie, doesn't even appear until about 45 minutes in. Even then, the monster fights themselves are kinda underwhelming. I think it just feels tired, really. I mean, this was the 12th entry in the series, so I guess what else could they have done that would have been more interesting? Well, the movie does try to do a few new things, I guess. For starters, we see the monsters have actual dialogue. Yeah, they have little speech bubbles that pop up and tell us what they're saying. It's really odd to see. I have no idea why these were necessary. Another thing that's a little unnecessary is that when Godzilla and Anguirus talk, their roars sound like they're being rewound on a record player. Why did they do that? This happens multiple times in the movie too. Also, in America, they changed the title to Godzilla on Monster Island, which is the main location where all the monsters live that I mistakenly called Infant Island in a few past reviews. So I apologize for that. But anyways, you want to know how the American cut worked around these speech bubble scenes? They didn't bother translating them, so they decided to just remove them and actually have the monsters talk.
Hey, Carmilla! What do you want? Something funny going on. You better check. Oh, yeah. Hurry up!
What the fuck? Why did they do that? It just sounds so stupid. So after 58 minutes in, Godzilla and Anguirus arrive to fight Ghidorah and Gigan. Like I said earlier though, it's not very entertaining. It's all slow and monotonous. It's just not all that fun watching a slow fight. You also may be wondering, how is Ghidorah alive when Godzilla and company bodied that bastard and Destroy All Monsters? Well, Destroy All Monsters took place in 1999, but I'm pretty sure Godzilla vs. Gigan is set in 1972, the year the movie came out. So there's that explanation if you wanted it. Okay, let's talk about Gigan, who's actually one of my favorite Godzilla monsters, even though his debut movie kinda sucks. I just love his overall design. Those metal hooks for hands and feet is an interesting choice. Plus that buzzsaw on his stomach looks rad. Not to mention, I really like his roar. It sounds so mechanical and perfect for his character. It's pretty odd to see Gigan be the monster Godzilla is mainly facing in this movie, especially considering Ghidorah is here and is usually the main baddie for Godzilla to face. Fun fact by the way, Gigan is being played by Kenpachiro Satsuma, who would later go on to play Godzilla in the Heisei movies. Interesting to see he got his start in these early 70s movies. He was even playing Hedorah in the previous movie. But back to Gigan. Oh, those hooks in that buzzsaw? Those ain't for show, he uses them. He actually causes Godzilla to bleed. What the fuck? Yeah, he scrapes his shoulder and pokes his head, then Godzilla starts bleeding. Why was this necessary? Anguirus even bleeds. He runs straight into Gigan's buzzsaw. Ew. Was this really important to show? This movie is so odd. What's even odder is that it's using stock footage from previous movies, mainly due to budgetary reasons. And no, it doesn't work. It's about as bad as when they did this in All Monsters Attack. However, it does have one fight highlight. Godzilla holds Ghidorah in place, and Anguirus flies his spikes at Ghidorah's stomach. That was pretty amusing. It's like the only part of this fight that I enjoyed. The rest of it is just, as I said, slow and boring. It just looks so jagged and tired. Plus the Godzilla suit's even falling apart. You can see parts of it dangling off. Jesus Christ, guys, I think it's time for a new suit. I love this design and all, but I think it just needs to be retired. It clearly can't hold out for much longer. Is the movie's soundtrack any good? Well, you may notice on Wikipedia that Akira Ifukube was listed as the composer, which sounds great at first. However, the only reason why he's credited is because Toho couldn't afford to make a new score for the movie, so they just recycled a bunch of music from their older movies to save money. God damn it. Though ironically, the soundtrack is probably the best part of the movie. Another thing, this is also the last Godzilla movie where Haro Nakajima played Godzilla. He'd retire from the role afterwards, and if I recall, I think he was quoted once saying he wasn't having as much fun playing the role anymore after Eiji Tsuburaya stopped being the effects director. Kind of sad that he chose to stop at this shitty movie of all choices, but then again, he had been playing the role almost constantly for nearly 2 decades. He deserved to retire. So thank you, Hiro Nakajima, for your service as being the original Godzilla suit actor. Your legacy may be remembered for ages, and may you rest in peace. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about Godzilla vs. Gigan, other than that it's a lazy and odd movie in the series that I just can't recommend watching. Maybe if you're having bad insomnia and need a movie that'll put you to sleep, then I guess give this a watch. I could barely make it through this movie on a first time viewing, and sure as hell couldn't stand watching it a second time. It's a weak entry in the series, don't watch it, just skip it. The next movie I'll be looking at is actually the first Godzilla movie I ever looked up and watched for myself over a decade ago, so it's kind of a special movie to me. Until then, I'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching.